Honey and Bojo, they're wonderful peaksters. So this whole notion of online learning and delivery in the fall, I think that what this pandemic has really done is that given professors like myself this really amazing opportunity to rethink about how it is that we are teaching. I love a live teaching environment, so don't get me wrong. But I tell you, I've been teaching online courses for a number of years and, getting to know the technology a lot better and also finding ways to really incorporate Zoom in a good way on D2L and also to use social media is something that is really cool. So, rising to the challenge this fall, is really about being reflective on my part. So I really have to tell you, right? So how am I going to rise to the challenge? Well, I'm going to continue some practices I already did and also incorporate some new ones. So I'm always going to use recent resources and resources that are accessible. So, things like, articles that are digital, of course, videos, music, because I am an avid lover of music, poetry slams, interviews and statistics, and all kinds of interactive quizzes online where you're going to learn a lot about yourself and connect, your real world experiences, of course, with the theory that you're learning. I'm also going to, rise to the challenge by really doing focused mini lectures. So instead of the great big, oh my goodness, we talk. Instead, it'll be focused mini lectures that also have, hands-on activities. Because you know what, it's important that students really do get credit for the work that they're doing in that environment. Buzz groups. And what I love about buzz groups, and all it is that it's a term for discussion groups, online, but buzz groups where you get paired up anonymously with, various, students, education students, and peers and colleagues in the course. So that you get to know each other, but then you have a focused task.
All of us are still trying to find what feels normal. We've been adjusting since then things started to change in March, and it really hasn't stopped changing. We went from trying to very quickly move our fall or our winter semester courses online to finish out the term. Some profs I know had a different experience in teaching courses through the summer and figuring out what works in remote teaching and learning and how much should be synchronous and asynchronous, trying to engage students and having camera time or discussions. Anything to just keep people engaged, I think, has been the biggest shift in adjusting how we teach. We may have taken for granted how much impact it is to be in a room with the students and engaging with them regularly. So as we lead up into the fall, I think there's a lot of us, all of us profs are making adjustments to our course content to make sure that, or to try to make sure that we're going to be engaging and find ways to make learning as easy as possible. The important part, and what I've heard from some of my colleagues as well, is that really gauge what your students, how your students are doing. Where are they in the course? Are they keeping up with it? And it might require being flexible and tweaking. If you've got a lot of lecture content at the beginning and it's very heavy, maybe it means that it has to be broken up with more discussions or ways of connecting with people to make sure that they're keeping up with that and engaging with that in a way that is going to make sure everybody's moving along where they need to be. So I think really what we need to allow ourselves, both the professors and the students, is to realize that we may need to be flexible, that we may need to have adjustments, and that some strategies might work well for some and not for others. So I think it means that we're all sort of in this together, and maybe perhaps we'll have to be a little more patient as we shift to these new learning modes. Some of us have found that working from home is quite nice. Others have found it very challenging. I think on a given day that both can be true. And I think the silver lining is realizing that we're still able to do what we do at university. And at Laurentian University, I think we have an excellent community and that we look out for each other, both at the undergraduate level, at the faculty level, of graduate students. And what we need to see is that we're all in this together. And I think that sense of not feeling isolated or alone has been shining through in these last couple months, and I hope it will carry through in the fall as well.